got this 50 ball
Yeah, man. Thanks for joining. What's up with you, J Dub?
and a whole lot. I'm just irritated every day. I'll be honest with you. I was gonna say I'm good. Like when people, they see you in the hallway and say good morning, good afternoon, how you doing? I'm good. I lie every time. I'm just letting you know. I'm just I'm saying
You putting on the front?
yeah. If you too honest and people don't want to hear all that, what if they come to you and say, like are you good? No, I'm good. In fact, my wife's been cheating on me 3 times. Like, whoa, wait. I didn't. I just wanted to say, are you good?
Hey, it'd be
And
interesting though.
you just say, to be honest, yeah, nah.
I'd be like, tell me more. How you know? How you know she's cheating?
That's true. Being such a listener, though, I'd be the person that would be like, "Oh yeah, okay," like totally.
It's funny though. People don't really that type of honesty. Like we all, most people do it. You be like, "How you doing?" You say good, or it'll throw you off if somebody says, "I'm doing bad." It'll stop you in your tracks, and you'll be like, "Man, what's going on with you? Why is it bad?" Make sure, man, they're not, taking drugs or I don't know, got a guilty conscience over something. But yeah, man, I guess that's a different topic for a different day. But that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm being real. No. But I'm saying, yeah.
Oh man, so man, let's get to it, man. What you got on your mind?
Let's get on to the Olympic athletes. We got Simone Biles as
Yeah,
like as we heard that she's in gymnastics and she is the best in the world at that, and she chose to not participate in I forget which was it the individual
I think she pulled out of all her events now.
all her events.
Yeah. I think the first one was individual, but it's all events now.
Yeah, so like she pulled out of all of them, and she said due to a mental issue or a mental breakdown. Is that what she described
Uh,
it? I don't want to misquote her.
there's a
It was
few things. I think it's just pretty much due to her mental health.
yeah, mental health.
And that's kind of how they generalize it.
Yeah, we've had a lot of athletes in here. Kind of been more honest, I think, with how they're feeling with Osaka too. She
Hmm.
mentioned um,
Tennis.
she's left a number of tennis events because she was dealing with depression and anxiety and trying to take a break from it. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I saw a lot of people. Most people were supportive, but there was like a good amount of people that was kind of going against them using mental health as an excuse to pull out of their events. I'll say if I had to guesstimate, I'll say about 60% of people are supportive, but there's a big chunk, like the other 40%, saying that it's an excuse. They're copping out, or they just crumble underneath the pressure, or they're selfish, or whatever the case. You got some people. Everybody ain't singing, everybody ain't singing to the choir,
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
but now for me, man, I'm all about people, man, protecting the mental. Because in the U.S., I feel like, in America, we wait for things to get bad. Like we're more reactive than proactive. Like we wait for people to have mental breakdowns and cut their hair bald before we start caring about them. Or, even worse, doing something to try to hurt themselves. So that's when, everybody wants to get concerned. It's like, I didn't know it was that bad. Well, they're telling us it's that bad for them, so you gotta believe them. Whether you agree or you think you did something differently, I mean, they're not you. You're not them. So, I mean, I fully support it. If they
Yeah,
say they want to get the mental right, get your mental right before you hurt yourself or hurt somebody else. So, what's your thoughts on it?
that's true. Though. Well, it's very eye opening uh, because you think these guys and girls, they're very world class athletes, and fans are expecting them to perform. So I haven't seen. It seems like more recent that these more athletes are getting more honest with how they're feeling.
Yeah.
And like when it seems clear to me, like why would somebody not want to participate in what they do best? Because very few people in the world get to play in the Olympics or to be on the stage that they're in. That's what I was thinking at first. But I mean, obviously they do love what they do,
Yeah.
so that the fact the problem is real if they feel like they can't. Um, because mental, health is just as important as the physical. And I think a lot of people miss that when they think about, these athletes that you want to just play and shut up and dribble, or just shut up and throw, or just shut up in general. And we're human. We're all
Yeah,
human. You're not talking to robots like we're just told to just do this. We pay you to do this. So because you're paid to do a sport, you're not allowed to have emotions. You're not allowed to have a breakdown. You're not allowed to go through life. Because someone pays you, you can't be human.
right.
You know what I mean? Like, in what world are we living in where where that's okay? I don't care what kind of job you're doing. I don't care if you work at McDonald's. Maybe mental breakdown is still anywhere you are.
That's real, man. That's real. And like you just said, you can't mask that with money. You can't even mask that pain with the love of your sport or your occupation. Because I mean, of course, they love their sport. They wouldn't get to that level if they didn't have the love for their sports. And a lot of people are saying too that, oh, I wish I can quit every time I was having a bad day. Talking about Simone, like she wasn't doing too good. During the course of her what was it, the beams, or what do you call it, the individuals? I,
Yeah,
I,
that's what I was trying to
yeah,
think of the
yeah.
name
I
too.
guess she didn't like stick to landing as good as she would have liked. So people was just like, she quit just because she wasn't having a great day, and that's not the case. Because for one, they're competitors. I'm sure there's been plenty of times to when they weren't on their best, but they finished. They finished out everything. They finished out the games and the competition. And this is our first time seeing this from Simone. It's not like she's quitting things left and right. So, for her to say, hey, I got to take a step back, it has to be serious because they're competitors, man. You guys really think she would stop competing just because she's having a bad day? Yeah, I mean, it had to be something going on. And
Exactly.
people just rush to judgment, assuming that she stopped, competing just because she was having a bad day on the mat. And, that's just rushing to conclusions. Because like you said, man, we have bad days all the time. You love your family, but there's some days you run your family, you just like, man, hold on, I need a break. I need to take a step back. That don't mean you don't love them. It's just you having a moment. Give people a second to recuperate.
How you feel, man? Yeah, I mean, and that could happen to anybody. But now that you see these athletes, it's like I think some people who are critical of them, they try to hold them to this different standard because they're not in the same chair as you. So you see them as you need to entertain me. You need to just do what you do and just represent the U.S. and things like that. But all that stuff shouldn't matter above somebody's health. That's kind of just because just to get a gold medal. Look, it's you're lucky to get any medal. Out there. At that kind of stage that you're in. But nothing should because if anything happens to you, you die. They just go and let somebody else take your place. So you shouldn't let any job, any profession drive you to the point where you're not alive anymore. Man. So
Yeah.
don't ever let a job let you down. I don't care what the job is. 'Cause you only have one life. And I think that people around the world need to remember that and not let the job kind of get you to a point. If you're gonna walk out, walk out.
I'm
If
telling
you're
you.
gonna take a day off, take a day off. So your sick day could be your mental day. A lot of people got things are going. You never know what people are going through.
That's real.
You have no idea. You think rich people, oh, what problems could you possibly have? What problems could you? Because your loan is paid off. What if it's like dig into psychology, right? What if you do? What if you had all the money in the world? You pay off your loans. Are you completely happy now?
No, man.
You know what I mean? Does that solve all the problems that you have?
No, and that's simple-minded people who think like that. Like, oh, they're rich or they're doing something they love. Why they don't want to do it? That's so simple-minded because, for one, you just get used to things. I mean, whether you rich, broke, this and that, it's not like it's something that's constantly on your mind.
Yeah,
It's not like you're having a bad day and you're thinking, okay, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich. It's all good. Like somebody cut you off in traffic. I don't care how much money you got, you're gonna be irked by it.
yeah,
And that's how life works. Like them emotions don't go away because you in a nice car or a bucket or you rich or you broke. It's just certain things and experiences that people go through to where Again, it doesn't matter your economic status or your occupation. I mean, you just need to take a step back. It's going to piss you off, or may make you happy or angry or whatever the case is. Emotions don't go away. Yeah, that's just like when people are surprised about celebrities getting, cheated on or something. I mean, that's an everyday thing. That happens to anybody. Rich people get cheated on, broke people get cheated on, and vice versa. Broke people stay faithful, rich people be faithful. So you can't always just say because they're at a certain position in life they shouldn't have those emotions. That's a simple minded. That's a simple way of thinking.
Exactly. It's definitely simple-minded, man. I think to me, again, like it just shows how human they really are. They're so impressed with what they do. I think people forget how human they are to you.
Yeah.
They bleed just like you.
Hmm.
I don't know what color everybody's blood, hey, but some come out, they get stabbed. Okay,
Man,
my mom used to joke about her having some green blood. So
green blood.
exactly. I didn't want to investigate, but it's one of those things where I just trust that's what it is. But we're all human, man. And I think it's a good. Well, like I'll ask you this, like, because do you think it's a good precedent to set these athletes? Because I think more athletes are becoming more comfortable walking away due to mental health than before. I think maybe in the past they that wasn't a thing.
Right.
It wasn't a thing, but now I see kind of like a pattern. Like Osaka does it, Simone does it, and Michael Phelps did it in the past. Kevin Love did it in the past.
Yep.
Um,
Middle of a game.
middle of the game. So you think it's a good precedent that they're setting, or do you think this could lead to just athletes just trying to like just kind of leave their sport for whatever reason?
No, I think it's a great precedent. Because if you just think about it on the surface, like you're thinking, hey, people shouldn't be quitting in the middle of the game. Like, LeBron can't quit at halftime and this and that. But those are different sports. But yeah, I mean, it's a great precedent because again, I know I'm gonna put myself over anything because if I'm not right, then nothing else is gonna be right. And in Simone's case, she said she had the twisties. It's like a
Yeah.
gymnast term for, she's kind of losing sight. Her head's pretty much not connected to her sense of direction.
Hmm.
So, while she's flipping and tumbling, she doesn't really know where her body's at and how she's gonna land. So if she didn't quit, she could have ended up getting herself hurt. And, people, then they would have been getting on her about that. Like, well, if you felt bad or if you felt dizzy or you had twisties or whatever, why'd you compete? It's just like the Manny Pacquiao and Floyd fight years
Hmm.
ago. People was mad at Pacquiao because after he went through the competition and lost, he was like, "Oh, my shoulder hurt."
That's so
Well,
different.
it's like it's a little bit more respectable
Yeah,
if you say that before the fight and say,
exactly.
"Man, let me push this out a little bit because I
Yeah,
ain't feeling my best." People
exactly.
get that. You be disappointed, but you'll still understand. But nobody wants to see you do it after the fact and then try to use it as an excuse. So, I mean, I commend her for it because she didn't use it as an excuse, like people try to say. Like, she didn't compete and lose, then say, oh, I lost just because of A, B,
Right.
and C. She stopped, like, during the competition. She was like, I'm not going to cost my team this medal, and here's my reasons why. So, man, you got to respect that, man. Because, man, you don't want them being behind closed doors and dealing with that pain or just whatever they're going through by themselves and, just doing drugs or, just resorting to violence or whatever. 'Cause I mean, again, they're human. That's what people do. We're barbarians. Pretty much. We're like sophisticated barbarians, where
Yeah.
we get to our breaking point. We might do things that we normally wouldn't do.
Yeah.
So when people are telling you this is how they feel, man, you got to respect that.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's at work or in sports or whatever. You got to respect, man, when people tell you the truth, even though you don't like the truth. I mean, if they're telling you that, who are you not to believe them?
Yeah, man. You gotta take it seriously, because it's a huge thing. I mean, because athletes go through a lot. They go through a lot. They're under a lot of pressure, very high expectations, a lot of money on the line, a lot of sponsors, a lot of family and friends pulling them. Um, I think it's something that it puts the world on notice that we all need to treat them like we do, anybody else that has a problem at work. If you go to work and you're going through something every day, you're in a toxic environment, it gets to you. Maybe you have a death in the family, any number of things can get to somebody. But I think you can't judge. I think there's an athlete that said this too, that you can't judge how they react to having a mental health. Like, so if they don't want to play, then that's their reaction. And some athletes play through it. So I'll play a bit of like devil's advocate. Because some people like Isaiah Thomas, um, not the one that played for the Pistons, but the one that played for Boston Celtics. That's about my height anyway. But he played and he had almost 50 points that
Oh,
one game in the
he got
playoffs.
50.
He got
He
50 in
got
that
50.
game, and I think his sister passed away, and he still willed himself and the team to a victory in a game that he didn't have to play. If your sister dies, you shouldn't have to play. Like you probably not in a good mental, emotional state to even get in, but he wanted to do that to dedicate the game. That's how he chose to do it.
Hmm.
And I think, and obviously that just benefits the team because your best player on the floor.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, good, okay, we're playing, oh, good,
Right.
yeah, yeah. But inside, it's like you didn't do it for you. You did it for the sister. You know, um, I think athletes should always do what's best for them. You
That's a
know,
good point.
that's for not just athletes, but people out there. If you're not an athlete, even you should do what's best for you regarding your mental health. You should seek, professional help if needed, or to always reach out to your friends or family because it's a big thing, and nobody is exempt from getting it. No matter how much
That's
money you
real.
got
I'm telling you.
or your loans is paid off, makes you feel better. I know, but maybe you still can't find love. You know, maybe it's not on Amazon Prime this time. Sometimes you can't find everything just on 2 day shipping. I know it feels like you can, but you can't buy everything.
That's real.
It's like I don't know. You agree with that statement? Like money can't
Yeah,
buy
100%. I
by
agree with that.
happiness because
I,
some
I,
people,
don't get
some
me
people
wrong.
do.
I
Some
want some
people do.
money. I want some money. Don't get twisted. I want some money.
Yeah,
I do think it helps for having not happiness, but just not having certain stresses.
yeah.
It takes away some of the pain points you can have in life, like worrying about bills or medical or just cars, like vehicle issues or whatever. But yeah, it don't give you happiness. It can take away some struggles, but it definitely don't give you happiness. But I'll take it. But I just find it funny though. Like most people that criticize her, these are probably like the same folks that they stay up drinking all night, then they call in sick for work the next day.
Oh yeah.
Like you ain't got
That's
nothing
great.
going
I know.
on. You was just drinking like a fish.
Yeah.
Now you can't wake up for work and you want to call out. Like those are the same people that's probably criticizing, these athletes and these people talking
Right.
about they got to tough it up or play through it or they're making excuses. Y'all the same folks again. You staying up all night, smoking crack or
Okay.
doing drinking or whatever. Then you don't get to work on time or you don't get to work at all.
Yeah.
Like those are the same type of people that's probably criticizing her. So folks got to chill out with that, man. They just let people live their own life, make their own decisions.
Pretty sure they didn't know what a twisty was. So
No, I didn't know what
I
twisted
didn't
was.
either. So I mean, what people should kind of be careful before they start speaking out about how the gymnasts work because they are the best at it. They know what is safe to do. I mean, you spinning all up in the air for Pete's sake. So it's a lot to do with it that nobody can understand. I think that was my kind of like my final really thought on that.
Man, so yeah, man, I think we can end it there. That was a pretty good one though.
Yeah.
That was a good one. But I know another one you've been wanting to get on to was that switching to a different topic is that Westbrook to the Lakers.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we both Laker fans. So
So Lakers on this.
what was your first thoughts when you heard that?
I thought we were getting buddy. Yeah, that was my first thought. I was like, okay, like I know that the Lakers were searching for a point guard that was better than Dennis Schroeder. Um, so I was happy though that they did get Westbrook. I was surprised that it was like a switch because I kept getting alerts on my phone about buddy this, buddy
Right.
that, buddy this. And I was like, hey, buddy, in my mind, like, where'd you go? And like, at the last minute, it said Westbrook. So I was happy, but also I wondered we got some work to do.
Yeah.
So what did you think when you first?
I want you to also surprised. Just because. I didn't know where Westbrook would go. I didn't know if he would stay with the Wizards or if he's gonna get out of there. So it definitely gives the Lakers a big three. The Lakers already still had them when healthy as a top team in the West, so this helps them. Only thing is, I'm not gonna say it guarantees the Lakers a championship just yet. Because the biggest thing is they got to figure out the play style. Like, are we just gonna be like are they gonna be an aggressive team? You know,
Right.
like just crashing the boards and racing down the floor for fast breaks. Just driving to the paint because the best big three on that team, they're not the best shooters. LeBron's capable, but he's streaky. Same with AD, and we know about Westbrook shooting. So I think the biggest thing for them is going to be figuring out their identity, like how do they want to play, who's going to be the primary ball handler. In my opinion, I think that honestly should be Westbrook, just because I think LeBron's scoring is a little bit more consistent, efficient, more efficient than Westbrook. So I think let Westbrook, handle the rock and give it off to LeBron, and LeBron needs to go into that scoring mindset. That's my opinion based on how the team is built now. But yeah, man, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting watching it.
So I think those that like we've heard people like Chris Broussard and Stephen A. Smith that on these bigger TV shows, and media outlets, like they may not think that it's a great fit, but I think those that say that they're assuming that the big three isn't going to work together. They're assuming that LeBron's going to always want the ball, and Westbrook and them are going to be like a tug and pull for the ball, and AD is going to act like a guard too much, like he normally does. He's a big man, but he acts like a guard. Like when he needs to get. That reminds me of that guy we played with in pickup. He was he was the tallest guy on our team, but he wouldn't set screens for nobody. Like he wouldn't get down the post. He was just shooting threes more than anybody else. We're over here half his size, setting all the screens, doing all the dirty work. This isn't day and age. Big men just want to shoot. But anyway, that's my rant. I didn't want to get into that too much, but it was just I think those that don't like the trade are thinking that they're going to be not working together. They won't put their egos to the side. But I don't see that happening because they made this effort to get him.
Yeah, that's one thing I can't stand about the media. They create these narratives. For as much as people try to criticize Westbrook, he doesn't come off as a bad teammate. And I mean, he might have like an occasional argument on the floor, with somebody, but everybody does that.
Yeah.
People, man, they fight in practice. They fight during games. That just happens. That comes with the territory. He ain't doing no more extra stuff than anybody else. So I definitely think all three of them are good teammates as far as AD, Braun, and Westbrook. And I do think that they're going to sacrifice to make it work. So, but you know how the media is. They always got to add the dramatics to everything. And, like, oh, what if it explodes? Like, they want to see it explode, And so I'm not going for that, man. Like I think they have to figure some things out, but it's more so the chemistry on the court, not more so the personalities and
Yeah,
guys arguing, going back and forth. I mean that's gonna happen, but that happens to everybody.
exactly. It's just like any big three, like with Harden and Durant and uh, Kyrie, they had to make it work, and I didn't really think that was the best fit either with all those three either. So it's just like I think it's more so just because he's not Chris Paul, he's not Kyle Lowry, sort of thinking that LeBron will always want to play with a scoring point guard that's more like a shooter, But I think they did what they intended to do.
Yeah,
And I think that's why I think it's successful. Westbrook is an upgrade at the point guard position, and they have work to do. They traded three players. They're
yeah,
obviously going to fill the roster.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's left out a lot because they got Westbrook, so now I mean they have to still sign other players, obviously, because you traded three just to get one.
Right.
So there's obviously some work to do. They signed a couple unrestricted free agents or undrafted players. Um, what's his name? Matt Clunk or something.
Yeah, I don't know them dudes,
You
man.
see
I don't
that?
know.
Like,
I don't know them dudes, man.
anyway, I mean, all those things all that to say anyway. I think it's a great pickup though, but
Yeah.
obviously there's some answers. How do you see them flowing together? Like, do you see AD being more at the center spot? Because that seems to be a spot that he doesn't want to be at. Like he seems to shy away from it.
If they keep drumming, I don't mind them being at the power forward. If they keep drumming, that's a big lineup though, because Westbrook's like 6'3", 6'4". You got Braun at 6'8", 80 at 6'10", and Drummond, what he like 6'11" or something like that. That's a huge lineup. So I just see them being real physical. Playing with a lot of pace. You got some athletes on that squad. Like those four dudes I named, they're all athletic. Like they all can finish. Like
Yeah,
they all can catch a body at the rim. So I see them playing real physical and fast. Um, there's a lot of ball movement. Again, they're all pretty good skilled passers. Drummond's probably okay for a big man, but AD's a skilled passer, and we know about Braun and Westbrook. Mr. Triple Double. They all can pass that ball. So, man, I'd say pace is the biggest thing. 'Cause you don't have the shooters. None of them are like super deadly shooting the ball. So I don't see the point in slowing down and trying to play at a slow pace. And I think it's enough too. Like even though the roster isn't a perfect fit, I don't think it's an excuse for us like for the Lakers to lose and not get to the finals. Like I ain't trying to hear nothing. With all them players,
yeah,
especially if they're all healthy, that's enough to get to the finals.
oh
It
yeah,
shouldn't be no you need more help and none of that weird stuff. I respect Braun, and all that stuff, but no, this is a good squad though. It's flawed, but it's a good squad that they can make work. 'Cause, again, it's a lot of athletes. They may not be the best shooters, but it may be the most athletic lineup in the NBA.
and I think that's what's kind of you need that. I think of given you're trying to handle someone like Giannis, the most athletic person that nobody can guard. So now it seems like they have to kind of dig through free agency. Maybe they can try to retain some of the shooters that they had before.
Yeah,
Ben McLemore,
THT still there.
THT, right? Shooter, but they offered him a deal. So maybe Doug McDermott. That was the first thing I was thinking
He's a
of.
shooter. Yeah,
Doug McDermott. Give me
yeah,
someone that could shoot.
yeah.
Like this is your job. You shoot. One job. These days, you can get paid $1 million to do one thing. To do one thing well.
That's what I love about basketball. Like you can't score at all, but you're just a beast getting boards. You have a job in basketball.
I'm telling you.
That's what I love about basketball, man. It's almost like life. Like you excel in something, you can make an opportunity out of it, and that's basketball. Like we need a shooter. If you suck at defense where you can shoot the heck out the ball, you're gonna have a spot on somebody's roster.
I'm telling you. You can be at somewhere. Hey, if all you can do is flip a burger the best, if you flip it the best, you can be somewhere flipping good. I tell you what. I tell you what. You can get that raise, flip up that raise. Yeah. So I mean, no matter what that one thing is, if you hone that, in the NBA, I think. So that was be my first pick. Obviously, they're not hiring me to sign some people, but Doug McDermott, I would call him
That's
first.
real. It's
I would
cheap. Should be cheap.
exactly.
It's done. Let me take his contract. Yeah, it should be cheap.
He should, because I'm cheap. So I would definitely. I wouldn't sign a lot of these players to a lot of money. I'm kind of frugal. So I'd be hoping. I don't even know where he played last year. Was he on Chicago last year?
Yeah, yeah. He started off with the Bulls. I don't know if he got traded, but he was on the Bulls at one point. So I don't know. That's one of them names, man.
One of those
One of
names
the
like
names that kind of disappeared, and it's like, oh yeah,
like I think he still played good, right? I
yeah.
think he still played good. So those things get these guys off the street.
Man, that's some good stuff, man. I mean, you got anything else on your mind? Shoot, I think I'm all tapped out.
Yeah, I mean, there's always so much, but there's always times we gotta, yeah, cut it short. I think next time, we'll touch on a lot of good topics to come. A lot more trades that happened over
Yeah.
over the last few days, and like some things to kind of get off our chest and to share with you, but also to give you guys a chance to share with us your thoughts. Whether it be your mental health and how you handle it, or whether it be what you think about the Lakers getting Russell Westbrook. So, yeah, stay tuned for more.
Yeah, man, I got a phone one for you guys next time. So, yep, tune in.